Like the enemy's gotta kill them once they're, gotta hit them again once they're down. Oh! Don't look, chat! It's not suited for all audiences. If this is fucking Rabid Rosalina, I'm turning this game off forever. Her name is literally Edge! Oh my god!
Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That is actually amazing. They've done a great job with this.
No!
Yep.
Her name is just Edge!
Yep. You know, you've sold. I've been sold on this character now.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew.
Not a Spark Hunter. My name's Edge.
Rabbit Edge, welcome to
Edge.
It's so large. Why does
He's so noodly!
As I suspected, the etheric disturbance here is no natural occurrence.
Is he coming? Oh, he was
Maybe
way further away than I thought. Wow, he was a lot further away than I thought he was. He's still coming. He's still coming. Damn, that is a deceptive gauge of distance. I guess he must have been really, really large. I thought he was a lot closer. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Are you hungry? I'm gonna go get some snacks. I thought he was just gonna blow up immediately. Boing! Oh. Now watch me murder your master. Oh, that absolute lad! Holy shit, what a champion! What a fucking guy! That promote that motherfucker! Holy shit, he actually did the push! Wow! Ah. Numbers. That's sorry, you space 12. We came full circle. Oh my god. We've come full circle. No way. The Zarius base 12. Well, that's the thing. How much you got, buddy? How much you got? Let's go for a solid 325, my friend.
It's a lot. But truth be told, job like that, drop your ask a couple of crowns and we'll be set.
A couple is 2.
That's the same thing.
Well, hey, I appreciate you, my friend, actually giving me a counter offer instead of just making. We'll go ahead and dig it up for you. It's kind of like how when you go to Taco Bell after a long day. Oh my god, if this is the 3 bandits. I felt it in my soul. Dialga spoke to me from 8 seconds in the future. Moonveil, what-ha! And now Halberd. Oh shit, a second one. It's Belgargo! Oh, fuck, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening to everyone I fight? You guys live here! You should know where the windows are! Stop flying out the window! So, picture this. You're a wizard trapped deep down in a cave with no spell slots remaining for anything meaningful. And there's a giant cave monster thing in front of you.
Happens all the time.
What do you do? First action, use a cantrip, cast guidance on yourself. You get a small attack bonus for this loaded crossbow you have ready in your other hand. Second action, fire. Bury a bolt deep inside this monster's hide, hopefully. But almost certainly not killing it. We don't want it to kill us back, so third action, probably defensive. You can use a second cantrip for shield to put a small ward up in front of yourself. Get a little bonus to armor class. And second thought, if we're this close, maybe we just use the first action to move our speed 25 feet away.
Safer, yeah.
Use the second action to continue moving away, and then we can use the third action to keep on just moving away.
Maximum safety. And that's why the 3-action system is the best thing about Pathfinder 2. And so the great thing about this is it's just such a variety of actions that you can do.
Right.
I mean, you can do physical actions, you can try to grab someone and shove them, trip them, aside from just moving around the battlefield or swinging at something with your sword.
And that doesn't take any training. That doesn't take any investment. Nobody needs to spend feats or resources to do that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just one of the things that is an option at all times, just passively throughout combat. You got things like feinting an enemy to try and make it easier to hit them, or opportunities like intimidating someone to try and frighten them and lower basically all of their offenses and defenses briefly.
And there's so many skills that interact with these actions that, so if you've invested in them, you just feel so good about being able to use them in the middle of a fight. My social skills become useful.
But it doesn't get stuck in that pigeonhole where your character is only good at the one or two things that you're really specialized in doing. Sure, you'll be better at those things, but everyone is at least passively competent in a wide array of different approaches to combat, different styles.
Oh, sure. Like,
Right
if you have
at
hands and a brain, you can do these things.
right at the ground floor, you can do these things. First level. So you got 3 actions that are totally open about what you can do with them. And one thing that really brings out in this game is mobility. You get into combat, you're not stuck in the trenches in these fighting lines throwing attacks at each other. You have so much more freedom to move about the battlefield turn by turn.
Oh, and it just makes for such a much more dynamic game. I mean, your board situation is never the same from turn to turn. You can go, I mean, obviously you could stand in a line if you wanted to, but it's
Nothing stopping you. You could also just attack 3 times.
You could, absolutely. But, you know, it really lets you, like, try to roll a flank to get around an enemy line, try to setting up flanking attacks on enemies to really improve your chances of hitting them, or keep yourself safe to get away, reposition. It's so much quicker.
They have a great action baseline one I really like, which is stepping. That moves you a single tile but doesn't provoke any kind of reactions, but only it's a single one of your actions, so it doesn't monopolize your turn like these kind of withdrawals or disengages have in some systems in the past.
Right, yeah, no, exactly. And so you can kind of keep the mobility up by also keeping yourself safe, and it really makes it very tactical and a lot more engaging.
It's just so open.
And so that's the great thing about this 3-action system, is that you can actually, it gives you so many opportunities to actually play with it, to create really interesting situations. So, like, we could take, like, a power attack feat, where it takes 2 of your actions to make 1 attack, but you get a whole bunch of extra damage with it.
The opposite, a monk. Flurry of Blows is a single action that lets you pop somebody twice. And
for only one action.
Space, yeah.
Yeah, which creates really great opportunities to go and weave it in with your movement to get to a good position to be able to spring those 2 attacks in.
Like, the quest line that adds this to the game is not added yet. Backwards Daddy looks just as well. Sofa Men. Sophanem is Metaphos backwards. If you just use the PH as a single entity. Every day. Every day we stray further from God's light. God fucking damn it, they caught me again. Oh, come on.
Where? We won!
We did it! We won the game!
That was the fucking awesomest!
They might need
in
you
magazine capacity.
They might have to patch that one. Oh, hey there. This is a weird fucking bit, isn't it? You want to watch a fully grown adult human get lost and then stuck on an incredibly simple puzzle for like 4 hours? Stick around. Oh, he's jamming! Oh, he's jamming! No! No! We got the left. Bye, have a nice day! What? Hello. Ah, perfect. Absolutely just chilling. Oh, my ring light fell over. Hold on. Why does my ring light look like it has depression? I don't have depression. It's okay, little buddy. It's up here, though. Oh, it got loose. Out broke? Oh. Mount. The mount is sad. That's okay. It can sit there. It should more or less work. Director Scar, Emerson Blade, Trenchus Demery, Tustuki, Hypothetical Hippo, Pyrovox, Carnotaurus 1. Starting us off with a cannonade today. Alright, I just looked up and noticed my ring light was depressed.
Welcome,
And Trencha,
to the Squiddy Pool.
with a 75-month resub. The Prime sub, the free money button, yo, the shiniest squiddling. Welcome in, everybody. How y'all doing? We're starting a little bit early because I do not have a lot of time today. This is going to be like a 60 to 90 minute stream. It's not going to be a long one, unfortunately. So I figured I'd get on a little bit early when I could. And we're going to hang out. We're going to bullshit with the chat. We'll throw some AMA on there. We're going to talk about Pathfinder. We're going to talk about the UGT show. We're going to talk about Strange Aeons, and we're going to do that while I go through a bit of adventure converting. Because I've had a couple people ask what I was using to convert the Strange Aeons adventure that we're running over on twitch.tv/UGT show. Normally on Saturdays. It's just a little break between chapters right now. What I was using to convert that to TUI. And the answer is my hands. My hands and one, honestly, like, very, very, very useful little tool that is a great fucking thing here. I'm just going to show you guys this immediately because we're probably going to spend a significant amount of time in here. This little tab right yonder, monster.pf2.tools. This thing has done like 90% of the work for me for converting things into second edition. Because all this little panel here is it is every single one of the various referential tables from the Game Mastery Guide on monster creation rules just lumped together into a little sheet. It's also got like easily searchable abilities from like every monster ever. So if you want to throw some like swallow hole on a motherfucker, well, here's every single enemy in the game that has swallow hole if you really prefer the text of one of them versus all of the other ones. It's a super nice little database. We're gonna do some stuff in there, but we're not just going to be necessarily building stats. We're gonna be looking at encounter balance too. We're gonna be looking at just kind of some of the stuff that goes into me getting the fights ready, getting the game part of the Pathfinder ready for our adventures. Because I'm not just converting this to 2e, I'm also fucking with the levels. Strange Aeons, the adventure we're running by default. Let me double check real quick. Let me just open up book 6 out of curiosity. I'm pretty sure it tops out at like 16. I think as written, you hit 17 by finishing the book. Where is it? Where's my little level guide in book 6? Yeah, the PCs end the adventure at 17th level. Which means I need to give them not 3, but 4 extra levels. Because the final boss fight of Strange Aeons is meant for a 16th level party. And I want it to be meant for a 20th level party. By the time we get in there, I need to have inserted 4 additional levels. We're going into book 3, and I've given them 1 right now. We're starting book 3 at level 8, whereas it's written for level 7. So over the course of books 3, 4, 5, and 6, I need to insert 3 levels. I gotta do, there's like 1 book. I get a pass on 1 book. I get a buy to not give them a bonus level. The good news is, I think it'll be pretty easy to fit a bonus level into book 3. We're not going to be talking much about where that's going to go. We're not going to be talking, oh, maybe not actually. Oh, they already are intended to get 2 levels in there. I'll look at it. We're not going to be talking too much about the plot or the story or the characters or anything. The point of this stream, and this is just hanging out on a Saturday morning doing some shit, is not to spoil the adventure that we're about to run. That said, I'm not terribly worried about it. I'm not going to like tell you all the crazy stuff I'm going to do or my ideas. But this is an adventure I have literally streamed before. So those of you who have been on the channel for a particularly long time have already seen me do an entire playthrough of Strange Aeons. We streamed the whole campaign in 1st edition, back when it was new. And it's my favorite one that I've run from Paizo, so we're doing it again in 2nd edition now, and it's, well, some of you may have already noticed some very large and sweeping changes that I have done to the adventure. I am building a very different set of Aeons from what we had before. I'm making a lot of tweaks to keep things new and fresh, and I'm not going to talk about any of that, because again, the point of the stream is not to be like a spoiler for the story we haven't even streamed yet. The point of it's just to get a little look into the process and to, you know, put together some stuff that's going to beat the shit out of the party. It's going to commit bullying. Some degree of bullying. The idea is to give them the fear, but maybe not kill them. How much can we ask when we're watching the whole of it in 1E? Honestly, since this is already like, I have it at the very front, the first 3 words of the stream title are Chapter 3 spoilers. I am not opposed to answering questions, any kinds of questions about the adventure itself. Your answers might be a degree of vague, but the adventure as written, because I'm gonna, you know, I do stuff with it. Honestly, book 3 is gonna be one of the ones I tweak the least, because it's so fucking unhinged. Like, Strange Aeons book 3 is crazy. It is an insane adventure, and it's one of my favorite single chapters in one of my favorite adventures that Paizo has ever made. I don't feel the need to do very much with this, and also it's such a weird saga. I don't really know what I would even do. I have some plans, don't get me wrong, but the main bulk of this adventure is going to remain unchanged. So to start this, for this most surface level and vague, and you can, to answer your question, Emerson, more directly, you can ask whatever you want. I can just not answer things if I don't want to. But the idea is I will answer as best as I can without, like, getting too into detail if I feel like it's something I don't want to get too into detail about before we actually do the show. Most of the cool twists and stuff I want to do aren't, kind of, this isn't a good way to say this, but like this book 3 is really interesting, but it doesn't have a massive amount of forward plot progression. So it's just kind of a cool adventure. It's a big step back from how story and character centric book 2 was, which is great for Marius, who is not a part of the main party. I watched the Glass Cannon live show of Strange Aeons. I don't really know where they are book-wise. I think they're pretty late into it, but I'm not sure. I have not kept up on that. I think they're definitely a bit further than we are, because we only started this like mid or late last year. We've only been, I think it was like mid last year. We've been doing this for probably 6 or 7 months, and we just finished up Thrushmore. We're just what I'm setting up now, where we're starting for this is just getting ready to leave Thrushmore. That's where this adventure is going to begin. Was this the campaign with that very fancy book that gives stats that they pass the check? Or was that Skull and Shackles? That, I believe, was in Strange Aeons is written. I think that is Strange Aeons. Down to every week. That's true. We take breaks between chapters, but we otherwise are mostly streaming the show every Saturday. Where we're going to be starting here, we wrapped up the events of Thrushmore. That's actually a good idea. I could literally just... Ooh, you're smart. That's a big brain. I'm looking at the breakdown for Book 3. Book 3 is meant to start at 7 and end at 10. So it already gives them 3 levels. It's already pretty level heavy. Three's a good amount. For usually the books are divided into 3 acts. And they are. This book is divided into 3 acts. So that's a level per act already. So was Book 2, but I fit an extra level in there anyway by adding the adventures in the Old Chapel, where they found the summoning circles and everything, and where they found where the demons had been summoned in from the beyond. They're supposed to start at 7. They're supposed to get 2 levels off of they basically get 2 levels before they go into like the final arc. It would be basically impossible to give them a level in the final arc of the adventure. Those of you who are familiar with Paizo's layout of adventure paths, the final arc of an adventure, especially first edition adventures, is usually just a big ass dungeon. They're pretty partial to that one. They do that one a lot. It's the climactic final level. It's usually hard to give a party a level in the middle of a dungeon without it feeling kind of forced and awkward. So if I wanted to put an extra level into Book 3, I would need to do it in the general pile of spaghetti that is everything that happens before that point. Book 3 is very non-linear. It's quite literally can be done in any order. Which means I believe there are 6 little sections that have to be done. So if the book, as written, gives them 2 levels in this, that means it's giving them a level every 3 little subsections. I could theoretically give them a level every 2 little subsections, and then we would end this adventure at 12 instead of 10, because we're already on par to leave it at 11. I could also do exactly that. Din. Your name makes me feel like I'm dyslexic. Din Main Papa. That's what I'm going with. I could add a little bit of just bonus adventures like I did with Old Chapel and Book 2. Squeeze in a little bit of just custom content, a whole extra arc, and then get some stuff in there too. Paizo first edition books are usually whatever this adventure is pretending is the story. In the book 6, you go fight God in a month-long dungeon. Din. I'm going to stick with Din. I'm okay with that. Yeah, we've talked about this, I think, in some of the post shows before. But there is a very, very baked in trajectory that I'm sure is an outline they follow on purpose with the first edition adventure paths. And the second edition adventure paths, from what I've seen, mostly do this as well. But I haven't read that many of the 2E adventure paths, to be fair. I'm only really familiar with the first 2. Age of Ashes and Extinction Curse, a little bit with Agents of Edgewatch. But they both do seem like they do the same thing. Book 1 is the intro. Book 1 is why your adventurers are going on the quest. Why you are involved in the story at all. Usually the very end of Book 1 or the beginning of Book 2 is the introduction of the actual plot of the adventure path. And then Books 2, 3, 4, and 5 are your primary plot. Generally, if you were to try to guess who the main antagonist of the adventure is, that's usually the boss fight of Book 5, is what ends up happening. And to talk about campaigns we have already run many years ago, War for the Crown, you fight Pytharius at the end of Book 5. And Age of Ashes, you fight who we ended up calling Treagle, but I do not remember what his actual name is in Age of Ashes. I know Treagle was a Patreon name. Etrix something. The leader of the Scarlet Triad. You fight him at the end of Book 5. Book 5 usually ends... You're over, Harrigan in Skull and Shackles. You fight Harrigan at the end of Book 5, the captain from the slave ship you started on. The Book 5 universally ends the primary plot. And then normally, there are a lot of little hints and hooks throughout books 2, 3, 4, and 5 that hint at something else. Some of the adventure paths do them better than others. And then Book 6 is almost like an epilogue. You can end most adventure paths at Book 5 and have a completed story. You can be like, that's the thing that we did. Then Book 6 is like the Final Fantasy, just kidding, I was the real boss the whole time, and some like puppet master that has been pulling the string. It's the Final Fantasy secret boss that pops out at the end of the campaign. Your optional boss. That's Book 6. Skull and Shackles, you just take over the fucking country because War for the Crown has one of my favorite ones with the Circle, which is really fucking good. And then obviously Age of Ashes, Final Fantasy secret boss, you quite literally go fight God. Like that's Book 6. Agents of Edgewatch goes exactly as you described too. So yeah, this checks out. Kingmaker has a secret boss. It's how they do it with basically everything. Some of the adventures are better than others at setting up Book 6. I think War for the Crown is one of the best, like, just pure written ones they've ever done, because they do such a good job of setting up the circle. It's never the main focus. It's always like there's just like little hints that something else is going on there. And then when it all pops off in Book 6, it's great. Wrath, you know what's happening by the end. Wrath of the Righteous, I assume is what you mean. Skull and Shackles, example of not done very well. I think that's, to my knowledge, one of the main complaints about Skull and Shackles is that after Book 5, you're like, why are we even doing Book 6? Why do we do this? Why do we suddenly decide to go punch the Hurricane thing in the face, Hurricane King in the face? It's Book 6 really kind of feels like it's out of nowhere as written. You got to do a little bit of GM legwork to really set up the pivot to taking down the Hurricane King without it just feeling like, well, we have another book to fill, so yeah, like, let's fucking go. It's the same with Age of Ashes. You get the little hints of Dehak all the way through, and you know about the presence that's sealed in the ring. All of that, you get the little bits of it, but your main enemy is always the Scarlet Triad. But it's kind of like, what is the Scarlet Triad even doing? Because you don't even really find out about what the Scarlet Triad is actually after until near the end of Book 5. Then you're like, oh, that's what we're doing now. And then you go to fight God. I like how you ended your one Skull and Shackles with them winning the regatta. I think there's a couple of very natural places you can end Skull and Shackles, and none of them are Book 6. I mean, well, the Book 6, if you do it, it is a good ending. But it's like segueing into it's kind of hard. I think finishing after winning the regatta and becoming a free captain is, honestly, if you want a shorter adventure, a fantastic fucking place to end that adventure. Skull and Shackles is one of the ones where 100% you could just run Book 1. It's true of a lot of adventure paths. Strange Aeons, also extremely true, because by the end of Book 1, you escape the asylum and you survive. There are a lot, because Book 1 is always the intro and it barely even really gets into the main plot, if at all. I think a lot of adventure path Book 1s can be run as self-contained little adventures. That was the idea when we were on the Paizo channel, when we were streaming for Paizo directly. The idea that we had behind the Hook series, where we literally just played the Book 1 of various adventures just to show off a lot of their APs. That was the whole point, was that a lot of the Book 1s are fairly self-contained adventures. And then unfortunately, obviously, Paizo wanted us to promote their newer stuff, so we were doing We did Curse the Crimson Throne because they came out with the Anniversary Edition, and then we did Quest for the Frozen Flame because that was our newest adventure path. Both of those, not great to cut off after book 1. Those both very those are not self-contained stories. Those are definitely just steps, especially Curse of the Crimson Throne. Stopping Curse of the Crimson Throne after book 1 was just like blue balls. I did not like that one at all. I did not like cutting Crimson Throne in book 1. Quest for the Frozen Flame at least made a little bit of sense because you got out into the secret valley, and like, yeah, I mean, you're not free, but like it's also weird. I didn't like stopping that. Both of those two were really bad. They were not good single books. There's a lot that are. Those aren't it. But with Strange Aeons, we're going to have kind of 2 tracks running simultaneously. The main thing that's going to happen is going to be a lot of combats on a boat. We're going to be on a boat. We're going to be hanging out on a boat, doing boat stuff. This is what we do. This is an adventure that takes place in transit while we're going somewhere. So a lot of these combats are taking place while you're just sort of on the deck of a relatively small barge. It's about 20 feet across, maybe 50 feet long. It's not a huge ship. This is not a 3-masted galleon. This is a little barge plugging its way around Lake Incarthen and then down the Selin River. We're going on a journey. We're following somebody, if you've caught up with the events of our previous chapter. Again, it's still relatively recent, so I'm not going to go to spoil it. Profession sailor checks. You don't need to sail the boat. You are just passengers. You are, however, passengers that are an 8th level adventuring party. So if, and because it's an adventure path, when bad things befall your ship, you're quite capable of stepping in to help. And if anything, you're probably more capable of stepping in to help than like anybody else on this little dipshit barge. You have with you, honestly, a couple of other very capable characters. One of which, I believe, as written, even with the bonus level that I give the party, is going to start... I think the captain is going to be higher level than the party. She is. Even with the extra level, the captain of the boat that you're on is a 9th level swashbuckler. So, question number 1, should I give her an extra level? Because you're supposed to be 7, and she's supposed to be 9. With the party at 8, should I make her 10? Probably. I'll probably just make her a 10th level swashbuckler. Middleman, 109 months in the pool. You with the shiniest squiddling. So, should I just make her a total character analog? I know that's not usually a thing that you really do in 2nd edition, but I could just make her a complete character analog. Like, roll her up like she's an actual player. And then just, like, delete 2/3 of her special abilities. Let's do it. Some of you guys may remember this name. Some of you from the before times may have some recollection of Skywyn Freeling, who is a small, insane little ball of halfling. And we're gonna make her 10. We're gonna make her a strong, independent woman. Skywyn Freeling, Larkin's first crush in our Pathfinder adventures. He was a big fan. He appreciated. Now, this is a character that, pending some kind of incredible disaster, the party should never find themselves at odds with. This is, think like Winter or Lady Rents, Strange Aeons, and, a lot of adventures, Paizo writes in general, kind of give you, like, the buddy NPC that you're with for this part of the adventure. Like, this is your main contact. This is your homie for this particular chapter, that's Skywind Freeling. Something would have to go just spectacularly fucking wrong for the party to have to end up fighting Skywind for some reason. But the fact that she is there and she is very competent lets me do a couple of things. First, it lets me make some of the early encounters that we're going to have in this book, I can make them pretty fucking meaty. Because that gives me an opportunity to have Skywind jump in and just go nuts. And have the party realize, oh shit. She's kind of a badass, actually. She is, as written in the adventure, a swashbuckler. I see no reason to change that. We'll keep her a swashbuckler. Swashbuckling seems right. Now, here's my question. Are there any swashbuckler NPCs that I can look at to kind of copy their homework? Is that an option? I know there's not a huge roster of 2E NPCs, and I know obviously they don't have player classes, but is there anything a degree of analogous that I could look at? Let me see. Here's the NPC list. We sort this fucker by level. And then get down into like generally. Because I might be able to just not do any work at all. So here's the trick. Step 1 is not to dive into the monster tool. Step 1 is to look at what already exists in the game and see if you can just not do any work. Because you don't have to do any work if someone's already done the work. So if there's like a level, look, there's a level 11 privateer captain. That looks like it's probably fucking awesome. What's this? You're a caster. I was not expecting you to be a caster. Okay. You're a priest pirate. Not as much a fan of that. I kind of like her just being a swashbuckler. What is sink or swim, though? It is literally waterbending. Okay. This is straight up waterbending. All right, yeah, I don't know about this one. I'll keep you open just on the off chance. Damn it, I saw that and I got really hopeful. What the hell's a veteran reclaimer? What does that even fucking mean? Pathfinder Venture Captain? Barushak Ilvarasma from Age of Ashes. These stats might be useful. What do you got? You got a hammer and... No, you're not what we want. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. What is this? You're an orc? Oh, you're like a knight. Okay. Nolly. What if she's just Nolly again? We have an ongoing thing with vaguely level 11 halflings that are terrifyingly powerful. What if we just bring back the fucking rail cannon from Age of Ashes? Any sailors find religion during a storm. That's fair. It's fucking... What did I call her? She was a Patreon name too. She wasn't Nolly. She was I don't remember. It was the halfling from the park when they got attacked by the ice devil that had the little sling staff, the AA battery sling staff that did like 2/3 of the damage in that fight. The fact that you're a catfolk makes me interested because that tells me you might be kind of dexy. And you're from a thing called Hurricane's Howl. This is... not the worst stat block in the world, but it's very basic. If I was going to use that, I could just make that. That wouldn't be that much difficulty. Let's see. Mistress Dusklight. I know that one. I want someone... It's a ninja. I want someone piratey. I want someone that's quick. What's Miolari's stat line? That's just the proprietor to the school for girls from Age of Ashes. What do her stats look like? Is she like a... She's... she's also a caster, damn it. Everyone's casters. Why's everyone casters? Why can't you guys be pirates? I just want a pirate, man. Was kind of hoping you convert the PF1 to stat block the 2E with some math. I mean, we're definitely going to do some of that because it also doesn't look like I'm finding anything. There's just no reason to do that if you don't have to. And this was the first thing I opened for a reason. And if I don't see anything real good here pretty soon... Who are you? Oh, you're the Skin Saw Man guy. I know you are. The fact that you're a Tengu gives me potential. Has Paizo ever made a Tengu that isn't a pirate? The fuck is a spike launcher? What the hell is a spike launcher? Oh, it's a gun. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Built from the tail of a manticore, a spike launcher launches large spear-like projectiles. It's a +1 striking weapon. It's a gun that deals 1d8 piercing damage with backstabber, fatal aim d12, and kickback. Reload 2. Once per day is 3 actions. You shoot a volley of small... This is a slinger. This is a Monster Hunter slinger. And once per day, you can do a slinger burst. Because it's a one-hander. I'll give 1 or 2. You can do either. Maybe 1 or 2. Why would it ever not be 1 if you have the option? Spike causes... Okay, so make a strike with a spike launcher against each creature on a success. It lowers their speed, and a critical success, they're fucking pinned to the ground. This, yeah, Railway Rifle from Fallout's actually really cool. 1 if you want to look cool, 2 if you want to hit stuff. All right, that's fair. Okay, hold on. I'm interested in this. I was just about to give up and go re-roll it, but now I'm suddenly very interested. Okay, if you have a loaded spike launcher, he has 30-foot AOO. He's got 30-foot fucking gun AOO. This doesn't have a clip, right? You have to reload this this is a single shot. Yeah, you have to load another fucking... It's reload 2, and you have to pump another spear into this thing every shot. Do you have a way to reload this? Yes, you get to cheat. That's how. You just have an ability that says that you do. Fair enough. Yes, the way that you cheat that is it says that you cheat that. Okay, makes sense to me. He just reloads it as 1 action because shut up. Okay. So you got a spike launcher, you have fucking 30-foot AOO with your gun. You reload your gun with 1 action because it says so. And, you also are just fatal D12 instead. What is fatal aim D12? You can hold this under 1 arm as long as you aren't holding a weapon, shield, or anything else. You can move to position. Oh, you're only fatal if... Oh, okay. I haven't read the gun rules. I mean, I've glazed over them, but obviously I haven't really read them. Okay, so this meant it was only fatal if you shoot it as 2 hands. But this... He can shoot... He can reload it as 1 action, and he can shoot it as fatal with 1 hand, because shut up. That's silly because he can. So what if we just deleted this? And then just made this trigger off of the rapier strike instead of the beak strike. And then just... This sword and pistol... I know this is not a sword and pistol gun, but the concept of sword and pistol with what really does sound like a Bioshock 2 spear gun is really, really funny. But she'd have to kind of like be doing one or the other. So I'd see she's either shooting the gun or she's using the rapier. And she's kind of got to like put the gun down to use the rapier. And if she crits people, she blinds them. Are we really giving a tiny halfling a gun made from a giant manticore? Yes. Yes, we are. Yes, we fucking are. Well, I guess if his fatal aim D12 is regular fatal D12, he explicitly can. Like, the point of his stat block in this fucking quick spiker BS rule is that he can use his rapier and also his spike launcher. That's the whole point of this, because it just makes it regular fatal D12. So he still gets to keep it if it's one-handed. Because it was under fatal aim where it had the rules that said you couldn't have a weapon or whatever in your other hand. has something called a spike launcher and have the bayonet trait. Good. It has backstabber. It has backstabber. like fuck, this is funny. Let's kickback. 1 additional damage to all attacks. Bring a kickback weapon gives a -2 to the attack roll. Characters to 14 or more strength. I mean, okay, so that's not a restriction. All right, fair enough. Immobilize, I believe, does apply flat-footed. It doesn't actually. Immobilize does not, because you can still move around. You just can't leave the square. You're like stuck in place, but you can still dodge. So it doesn't somewhat counterintuitively does not immediately imply flat-footed. Okay, so what if we do this? And I click this button. And we do this. What if that's Skywin? What does Skywin do as written? Nothing in particular. Well, I don't want... The only problem with this... Let's use this as a brick. This is our building block. I still want Skywin to be a swashbuckler. And right now, Skywin's not a swashbuckler. Skywin is a funny gnome with a gun. Which, I mean, there's a lot of power to being funny gnome with a gun. All right, she can be 10, right? 10 was the original. I was thinking we were 1 low. 10 was the original level I wanted her to be in the first place, so we don't even need to do that. We can leave her here. So let's go over yonder. Let me look at her stats. Now, I have to say this every time we've done these little side Pathfinder setup streams. I have to quantify that I can't... The PDF of the adventure path, the adventure path itself... Those are one of the few things Paizo has that are not just open license. Those are the things you're supposed to buy. I can't put the Strange Aeons PDF on screen. So I can't show you what it is that I'm referencing. Because this is, you can get book 3 of Strange Aeons if you want to look. But that one's not free. This, however, we're totally good for. So as written, Skywin's stats are very not bullshit. But that said, it's a Pathfinder First Edition character. Wow, terrible. Okay, so I'll have to do these manually. Okay, why don't you just make this like a 1? Bing, bong, bing. Your wisdom can be like a... I know this is really how stats work in 2E. If we're going to have her swash, and we're going to have her swash with a sword too, let's put her... I'd actually rather put that in their wisdom. Let's do this. Let's make that a 4. Oh, her charisma is actually supposed to be pretty good. Let's give her like a spread like that. With a hat from WoW that has the chance of charming the enemy or counter charming her. Oh, the gnomish mind control cap. That's halfling. It's a different thing. Okay, so this is my honorary stat block. I think she is small. Why does she have a shield bonus? What's giving her the shield bonus? Ah, she has a +1 buckler. I'm going to kind of replace that concept. I like she's supposed to be a little rapier and buckler duelist. I, for one, not a humongous fan of the tiny little baby shield pirate fantasy. I would much rather have her use the spike launcher. So I'm just going to give her the average AC by level. Her saves as written. Her good save is reflex. Usually what you want to do is you want to have a high, a moderate, and a low. Is a good way to do it. So I'll just bing, bang, bong. And again, all these numbers are being pulled from... I'll pull it up just to show you. All this page does is pull all the numbers from these character building tables. You could reference all these tables manually. So like saving throws. She's 10. 22, 19, 16 is a high saving throw for a 10th level creature, a moderate saving throw, and a low saving throw for a 10th level creature. So that's all this is doing, is all this site does is put all of that information in these little menus in one place and makes it very easy to just speed through them. She's got Bravery in first edition. I'll just keep that. But as we are second edition, I'll go ahead and make it plus... I'll keep it at +2, honestly. We can stay +2. Normally, I would turn... Like, general rule of thumb, I turn +2s into +1s, converting from 1E to 2E. But you know what? Fuck it. She can keep +2. She can not be scared of no things. Okay, let's give her just max average HP. She's a little halfling. She's not... You know, anything... Actually, I'll just give her... I don't even put this on the low end of her actual hit points. Nah, 171 is probably fine. We'll keep her there. We'll keep her at the bottom end of average for that. She's just a fella. She doesn't have any particular weaknesses or resistances or anything. As a swashbuckler, who we gave pretty solid wisdom, I would imagine we're going to go for a relatively high perception DC. What is his? His is actually low. Because wisdom's pretty low, too. I think I'd give her a decently good perception. She is a ship captain and a swashbuckler with 18 wisdom. I feel like she'd be pretty okay at that. I have now favorited your secret monster website. I'm stealing all your secrets. Oh no, this site's absolutely just take the fuck out of this. Monster.pf2.tools. This is so insanely useful. This site, it just makes it so much faster. And then transferring skills is always a little bit weird. So she's definitely going to be good at acrobatics. She's 100% going to do that. As a ship's captain with fairly low strength, she's definitely going to be trained in athletics. I don't think she's going to be fantastic at it, so I'm going to give her a +17. She's not really a strength character. That simulates the climb and swim that she has in 1E. She's trained in Intimidate as written. Let's make her a scary little halfling lady. And the only other things that she has there are Knowledge Local and Profession Sailor. I'm going to simulate that by throwing some Society. That's definitely a very easy Knowledge Local. Do I want to give her anything else? And then I'm just going to take one little look through the list here. My brain says to give her Stealth or Survival, but those were both in 1E, and she isn't trained in either of them in her first edition stat block, so no reason to pull that over, no reason to make stuff up. Okay, so what she got? So she has... I'm going to give her a level... What level do the weapon runes come online? Let me get these. I can give her a greater striking. That's very slightly better than what she should have, but I can give her a +2 greater striking rapier. And if the party somehow gets a hold of it, you know, whatever, so be it. I don't care. They'll have it a little bit early because it's going to be 12. I'll just make it regular striking. I don't need to make her that cheese. I can make her damage whatever the fuck I want anyway. She's an NPC. I do whatever I want. We just make up rules. Fundamental armor runes. I'm pretty sure she's just gonna have +1 resilient. Yeah, okay. So +1 resilient. What do you wear? You wear a chain shirt, probably. You wear a mithril chain shirt. Sure, you can keep that. That's cool. You can have a mithril chain shirt. Survival's Profession Sailor adjacent. Yeah, but I mean, you can make an argument that's still. Like society covers it. There's really not a Profession Sailor analog. I mean, if we really want, we can give her fucking lore sailing. And just put it high. We could literally just give her Profession Sailor as a lore and let her use that. Okay, what else you got? You have a Masterwork Heavy Crossbow. Nope, you have a Spike Launcher. Because it's funny. I'm definitely keeping the Spike Launcher. I'm so glad. I'm so fucking glad we found this guy. He gave us a beautiful gift. She has poker resistance, fuck off, some cash. What is a plume of panache? And is there any kind of fundamental equivalent? Plume is oversized, chic, and extravagant to gain its effects. The user must affix it to a non-magical hat with at least 10 GP once per day. When you perform a deed, the plume gives you 1 panache point that can be used for the deed. Okay, so that's not really a mechanic that made it into 2nd edition. So, There's some fucking pirate macaroni. That's exactly what it is. This is not a mechanic that survived the transition. Because you don't have panache points anymore. You just go in and out of panache. If anyone knows off the top of their head, if there's... It wouldn't matter because there's no swashbucklers in the party. I don't think there's any reason in listing any more than this. So just fuck it. That's what she has. Talismans as douche is what you're thinking of. I'll just give her a special ability that does something similar. We can give her a reaction. We'll give her a reaction that like once per day, or maybe like if she makes a DC 15 check or something, when she would end her panache, and if she succeeds, she instead doesn't, or like once per day instead of losing panache when she does a finisher, she just stays in panache. We can give her something to kind of simulate that, but I'm not terribly worried about it. Her just staying in panache after she does the finisher would be really fucking cool, honestly. Swashbucklers are fast as fuck, aren't they? Don't you have giga speed? Isn't that like the whole thing? I know panache makes you silly fast. You get a 5-foot speed when you have panache. Doesn't that scale? I feel like that scales. It scales. So it's only when you have panache. When you have panache, you're fucking fast. But does it go higher, or is 10 as high as it goes? Ten's as high as it goes. Without feats, it looks like. Oh, it's here. It's in this. Okay, so it's 10. Right. I was like, I'm sure it goes higher. Then it goes 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, so let's give her regular speed. So let's give her 25 feet, and then I'll just put it here for reference. Let's just say 40 with panache. There. Let's make her fast as fuck. Give it a plus 15 for being level 7. All right, so she's... It's going to be fast in such a small boat. She can literally, in a single move action, go from the bow to the stern. She's zoop, other side, done. All right, attacks. Let's give her some attacks. First of all, it's going to be melee. It's going to be a rapier strike. You're going to swing at probably a fairly average attack modifier. We should pick one of these and make them better than the other. As written, she has a crossbow and a rapier, and she's better with the rapier. Plus 18 versus plus 15 with the gat. However, the spike launcher is really fucking funny, so I kind of want to make her better with the spike launcher. I don't know. That's a toss-up, honestly. I want to give her probably a high on one and a moderate on the other. Ranged spike launcher. Is the spike launcher funny enough to make it her primary method of attack? Or do we want just a little red-headed fucking halfling bullet flying all over the ship at speed 40, fighting everything at the same time? Her rapier is plus 2 and her spike launcher... The spike launcher is only a 6th level item. Because it is only plus 1 striking. It's honestly not very good. It's funny, but it's not that good. I think it should definitely be a sidearm. I think she should be good here, and this should be her backup. I think she will primarily use this. I'm going to give her this reaction. She'll primarily use it for this reaction. And not really much else. Because, yeah, she's going to need to be doing finishers. What's a rapier got? Deadly D8, disarm, finesse, magical. Okay. Deadly D8, finesse, finesser, disarm. I'm not going to fucking write magical. We all know it's magical. This says backstabber, fatal D12, kickback. Backstabber, fatal D12, kickback. Kickback doesn't matter for her, but that's whatever. Yeah, 30-foot AOE was pretty funny, which I'll just go ahead and search here. We'll go to snapshots. That's not what it was called. That is what it's called. How does that not pull? There's no way there's no ability called snap anything. No, it does pull NPCs. There's a snapshot NPC in Age of Ashes. How does this not pull up snapshot? What is the hyena girl? Hyena lady from Age of Ashes. What the hell is her AOO called? Because I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Laslan, that's her name. What's your AOO called? Is it not Snapshot? Oh, it's lit. Oh, she had regular attack of opportunity, right? It was regular AOO. She could just do it with her bow. It wasn't that she had a ton of range. It was that he wasn't expecting her to be able to AOO at all while she had a bow in her hand. That was what it was. She just has normal AOO. Well, then, I don't see why we don't just make it attack. We could do the same thing. We'll just throw attack of opportunity on there. Attack of opportunity. And say Skywin can only make attacks of opportunity with her spike launcher. And she can make them at a range of up to 30 feet. Because that's functionally what this says. It just has like way more words for some reason. That is exactly attack of opportunity. And then we'll give her... Nobody has opportune parry and riposte. That's okay. We'll give her this instead of parrying. We'll give her the funny gun instead of parrying. The funny gun is funny. Okay, how much damage did this do? Rapier. So Rapier is gonna be... What did you give him? 2d6 plus 11. Yeah, I was kind of thinking we were probably gonna be like down here because she's gonna get bonus damage from her panache, which we'll figure out. And the spike launcher, we'll give... You did 2d8 plus 9 is what you went with. Let's go with... I'll honestly just copy that completely. I'll just straight up take the damage rolls from Raskus over here. We'll just steal those directly. Piercing and piercing. Okie dokie. So they're similar in power. One's got slightly bigger dice. One's got slightly bigger modifier. Neither of them are very high, but she's going to get a little bit of bonus swashbuckler stuff, and then we'll call it good. So what else do you do? What else do you... Since you are an NPC in first edition, you have 50 billion feats and player characters that I truly do not fucking care about. But do you have anything that makes you unique? Did they give you anything cool? The answer is no. No, it doesn't. No, they didn't. You just have the world's most basic swashbuckler build. You have absolutely nothing interesting in your first edition. So you've got fucking dodge, combat reflexes, combat expertise, weapon focus, weapon specialization. You have the most vanilla feat line I have ever seen. And all of your deeds are the most basic deeds in the world. You have menacing swordplay, at least, which is I believe the intimidate one. Let's see. I had to pull up 1E swash. Look at the deeds. Menacing swordplay. Yeah, menacing swordplay lets you intimidate as a free action. Swift action. It'll be a free action, second edition. We could keep that. We did keep that she's trained in intimidate, so we can keep menacing swordplay. We'll throw that in there. So let's just add an ability custom here. Let's go menacing swordplay. It's not going to cost any actions. I will add it up here. Plus menacing swordplay. Traits fear. So what do we want to do with this? I don't really want to be rolling additional intimidate checks. One of the things that 2E does very well is reduce the 200 consecutive pointless dice rolls. I don't really want to roll an intimidate check every time I whack somebody. I think menacing swordplay would probably translate better with, like, literally just on a crit the target's frightened. That seems like it's probably the easiest way to do it. We could basically copy go for the eyes, but make it frightened or frightened and fleeing here. Let's do that. Trigger. Skywin critically hits with a Rapier Strike effect. And this also, by the way, over here, you can see this. You can type things like that, and this is smart enough to format it for you. You don't have to do anything. I literally just typed that plain text in this box, and it gave me the trigger and effect, which is really, really nice for being able to just export extremely visually parsable monster stat blocks that are divided up how an actual... Like, this site is fucking amazing, man. You can even go down to the list of, like, you can write crit success, and then we'll switch it into the list format, like how it does on a spell effect. It's so cool. It understands what it's supposed to be looking for. But I'm literally just going to say, I want to make this very simple. Don't capitalize and frightened. Target is frightened 1. I don't care about formatting. I'm the only person who's ever going to look at this after today when all of you guys are also looking at it. After today, I'm going to be the only person that ever looks at this. That's going to tell me that's the mental trigger I need. I don't care enough to get wording super precise. I'm not publishing this. Also, I don't want it to take up any more space. I want the stat block to be as small as possible, so ideally I can split 2 of them on one piece of paper. Okay. Menacing swordplay we'll keep. That's neat. Everything else is cool. No, then we're going to give you panache. Let's fucking go. I'm sure that there is not panache in here. There's no way an enemy has ever been given panache. Paizo was not insane enough to give an enemy panache. So, we're going to give her... panache. Let's make her get panache by frightening people. That makes sense. We just gave her menacing. Well, okay, if we're going to do that... Let's see. Let's make this 1 action. Let's get rid of this. Let's go requirements. Skywin's last action was a melee strike that dealt damage to an enemy. Let's do that. Let's just make it when she hits somebody, she can do an intimidate that will either automatically succeed or let's do it even better. Skywin attempts to demoralize the enemy typo. And gets a result 1 degree of success above the outcome rolled. Let's do that. If she whacks somebody, she just gets to intimidate them with +1 degree of success. That's cooler. And also fits better into how Swashbuckler is supposed to work, because you want to do something active. You shouldn't enter panache by just critting somebody and auto-frightening them. You should have to. It should be an action. That's part of how it works. Panache itself is not an action. How do I want to write this in the easiest way possible? So, Skywin gains panache when she successfully demoralizes a foe. While in panache, Skywin's speed is increased by 15 feet. And then she gets precise strike damage, right? Which is how much? Oh, and you get a +1 circle. I don't fucking care. Successfully demoralizes a foe or tumbles through on opponent, and on the off chance that that's... Why is my phone going off 200 times? What? Oh, it's everybody talking in the guild Discord for World of Warcraft. We're trying to figure out... We're bored. We've killed the Lich King numerous times now. We're like, what do we want to do this week? And we talk about going into next and just trying to get all the achievements real quick so we can get the funny disease Drake. All right, what else does it do? I don't remember what Swashbucklers do. And then you get Precise Strike, which would be 4 additional damage. And deals 4 additional damage with strikes. I don't need to specify the type of weapon. Those are the only types of weapons she has. Also, she's getting on the spike launcher. Shut up. Because it will be funny. Because it's funny. So she gets on the spike launcher too. She's an NPC. She doesn't have to follow the rules. I do whatever the fuck I want. And then, does panache last until the end of her next turn? No, panache lasts until you do a finisher. Which, confident finisher is the default finisher, and I'll probably just give her confident finisher. I don't really see any reason to get super fancy. It's Braggart is the intimidate one? Yeah. Braggart's funny because you just get to keep fucking demoralizing the same guy. I guess I could actually do that. We'll keep that. And then we'll do one more. We'll do... Also, this is more of a general, so I'll put it up top. Confident finisher. I know there are other fancy finishers. Not gonna bother. We're just gonna give her confident. Make a strike, or let's see. Skywin makes a strike with a rapier. It deals about 4d6 additional damage. This strike deals an additional 4d6 damage with the following failure effect. Failure. You deal... Let's just say 2d6 damage, so I have to remember what precise strike damage is. So you whiff, you still do 2d6. I'm itchy. I'm itchy in my ear hole. After this strike, Skywin's panache ends. Also, I see I misspelled panache up here. There we go. If the target was temporarily immune to Skywin's demoralize, they lose this immunity. And then we get the Circle Jerk of Destiny, because you can confident finish your menacing swordplay. Pull me right back in, coach! That's definitely not how that's intended to work, but it's funny, so it's what I'm gonna do. I think that's probably good, honestly. I don't think I need to put any more effort into that. I think that's probably Skywin right there. That seems fine. Yeah, I think rather than the 1-a-day stay in panache, I think it's easier the way that I wrote these to just work together. She can just confident finish her. Let me do one thing. Let me get one thing. Let's do that, maybe. maybe put Flourish on that. But otherwise, I think we're good. We'll just maybe put the Flourish trait on Confident Finisher so that her turn can't be Confident Finisher, Menacing Swordplay, Confident Finisher, because as funny as that is, that's not the intended mechanic. I don't think she needs to be double finishering in a turn. Although that would kind of, well, I don't know, honestly. Double finishing in one turn would kind of stick with the original Plume of Panache idea, because she could just bang out a deed back-to-back for 1 panache point. Nah, this is fine. The fact that she can go right back into it's pretty funny. I like this. It's almost impossible. The plus 19 to intimidate. It's going to be almost fucking impossible for her to fail. Finishing only makes you completely unable to attack. Where do you find that? Make a strike. Oh, is it the finisher trait? Only use the finish if you have panache, you lose your panache. You can't do any more attacks for the rest of your turn. Oh, okay, so it doesn't need flourish. All right, fair enough. It's under the trait itself. All right, that doesn't need to be there then. It does need to have finisher then. That's the trait I need. I just need finisher. And then do you have... No, we're good. We're good there. All right, so that inherently means she can't do it twice. I guess it is called a finisher. That's the entire point. That's what that does. Okay, so there's that. There's our little bow captain. Tiny gnome that pins you to the ground and sprints at you screaming insults before she finishes your head off is a good meme. I think we've made Skywin into a relatively terrifying and absolutely hilarious little menace. She is an absolute fucking nuisance to society. She's got the 30-foot spike launcher AOO, and then she has what's realistically going to be 2d6 plus 15 damage on her rapier when she's in panache. If she wants to just raw out an intimidate check, she can do that, or she can hit somebody with reduced damage and then menacing swordplay to immediately go into panache. Because she can't menacing swordplay off of her fucking gun, obviously. But this manticore-tailed gun is so funny. The only thing I have to deal with is that she is literally two-handing a crossbow in her art. And I'm going to file that one under such is life. The spike launcher is way too funny for me to not use. There is not a universe I'm not using the spike launcher after finding that thing. Holy shit, it's so funny. Okay. So there's her. The spike launcher should activate Panache. If she crits with the spike launcher, I'll consider it. Because Panache explicitly activates if you do something particularly cool. Like critting someone to death with the spike launcher would... I don't know. That's not like Panache cool, but it's funny. And again, that's kind of what I run my life on when I'm GMing things, is funny. So, with her on the ship, the first encounter that the party is going to have is a horde of Vuniths, which probably don't exist in 2nd edition. So I'm gonna have to fully convert your ass, aren't I? Why are you so tiny, text? Why are you so tiny? Why are you so tiny? Don't be tiny. Why are you so right-aligned? Vuniths! Paizo. As written, the party is level 7. Here's a handful of level 4 dillweeds that don't do anything. Oh, they actually do something. They have a blood freezing. Yeah, this sure is a first edition monster. Here are 20 screaming salamanders. There's like 4. Here are 4 screaming salamanders. The DC is really low, but you gotta make the save 4 times. And if you lose, you're fucking dazed. Which sucks ass. like. Alright, so the first fight is a horde of screaming salamanders that just kind of climb up on the boat. Because this is a creature that apparently there just is in the world. Galarian is a death world. I have no idea how anybody manages to live here. There is no way, you cannot convince me that regular peasants manage to remain alive on Galarian when shit like this exists. Now, there was originally supposed to be a Vunith in book 1 of Strange Aeons as well. There was a single Vunith. It was an encounter that I was too lazy to make a new Vunith. So I just, didn't. And I replaced it entirely. I believe I replaced it with a phase spider. Either way, it doesn't matter because we didn't run that encounter. So while I can convert a Vunith to Tui, I think I already have a pretty decent stand-in. What level is your ass? The entire point of this thing is that it runs in and it screams and it stuns people. I know a guy. I know a guy that does that. I know one of those fellas. Y'all ever seen this stunning screech down here? I could slap a Vrock's stunning screech. The peacock from Age of Ashes. That didn't scream. He just shaked his booty and it was really distracting. There's actually probably a lot of stuff that has this kind of scream. And generally, first edition monsters really don't do anything. First edition monsters are extremely boring compared to second edition monsters. So it's usually better if there's not a second edition version to just find a stand-in, because they have so much more stuff. Now this is a demon. I don't really want it to be a demon. I mean, obviously, this is the great secret. You can just run a Vrock and pretend it's not a Vrock. You can just run a Vrock and say it's a weird little lizard. You can do that. There's no rules that say you can't do that. So what I think we do is we hit him with one of these. We make it 4 of them. I think that's pretty fine for our party. Where's the other thing? There's another. Here's another tool. The Pathfinder 2 encounter calculator. I have 5 8th level party members. Oh, that's number, not level. And I'm looking to bring. After 9. Dang it, they're like straddling the barrier there. We're gonna say Vargoyle. What do Vargoyles do? Oh, this thing looks like way more fitting. Does it have a 2E stat block? What's this fucking thing? Oh, it's so weird. It's a baby. He can be scaled up. You like that one, chat? Sure, here you go. I just Google PF2E encounter calculator every time I want to pull it up. I'm pretty sure I have it saved in here somewhere, but I don't know where it is. This is also a good one. What does this thing do? What do you do, little fella? Vargwill's Shriek. It's Scream. Oh, I don't like Paralyze. I'm not a Paralyze enjoyer. I generally try to pull out Paralyze where possible, because it's not a very fun mechanic to not be able to do anything. And we have a solution to this in second edition. It's called Stunned. Stunned 2 is nearly as crippling as Paralyzed, but you still at least get to play. Obviously, there is a Stunned 3 here, but that's on a crit failure, and on a crit failure, I'm okay with doing shit to you. But on a regular failure, I don't like paralysis. There were obviously a lot of ghouls in Strange Aeons so far. They're kind of central to how the adventure works. I didn't have a very easy way to get rid of them. What I think is, we make it 3. It's like a moderate and a half. If I make it 4, it's very slightly higher than a severe. But Skywind is there too. Skywind being there, I think we make it 3. I think we make it a moderate and a half. This is quite likely to be one of the very early combat encounters they have. Almost certainly going to be the first one that they have on the ship with Skywind. So 3 of them seems reasonable. Our party doesn't have any AoE at all. So adding more enemies is more detrimental than it would be to a lot of Pathfinder parties, because we don't have like a blaster wizard or anything like that. We don't even have anyone with cleave or whatever. Everyone's hitting a single target at a time. I might just reskin this as this. Like, I will describe a Vargwili or something similar. I might even just describe them as Vunits, what they're supposed to be, little wiggly boys. Just pull in this little stat block here, tell this 1d6 random evil to go fuck itself, take away the attack of opportunity and the peace vulnerability, and probably the Spore Cloud, and keep Dance of Ruin and Stunning Screech. Because now what we have... Oh, get rid of his casting too. Now what we have... the casting could be interesting. Now what we have is a bunch of little wiggly salamander boys that are noodling their way up out of the water, that are kind of intelligent. They can apparently talk. They can talk? They're talking salamanders? Okay. That's way funnier. Because I still want them to be Vunits, because the fact that, you may have noticed a little bit of a connection here to the Dreamlands and the adventure that we're having. So I would like them to still be Vunits from the Dimension of Dreams. We describe a Vunith, we play a Vrog. Easy. It's literally that easy. The work is done. He's right here. I just use this. I don't have to do shit, man. Everything's super duper easy. Do you have any like weird resistances or anything? This fucker doesn't do anything. What do you mean reach 10 feet with bite? It's a tiny lizard. How the fuck? What is he, like one of those little sticky slap hands that you get out of little quarter machines at fucking CC's Pizza? What the hell is this dude reaching 10 feet with a bite? He just go... He's got an extendo arm for his mouth. Dimension door bite. But I really like Stunning Screech, and honestly, I'm a stupid sucker for this ability. This is probably one of my favorite monster abilities in Pathfinder. I fucking love this ability, where he basically just starts breaking it down, and then he blows up. And if they keep dancing, they just keep blowing up. And it just gets bigger and worse. And making them little creepy electrical amphibious lizards in the Dimensions of Dreams with too many legs and a weird scuttle fits really well for shit coming out of the ocean. The more we describe Skywind, the more I picture Yosemite Sam. Why? You keeping the weird demon weakness thing? No, I'm eating both of these. I'm keeping the weird demon weakness, but I'm also eating attack of opportunity. And I'm eating all of his casting. And I'm eating Spore Cloud. Because there's this... While the creature's level does a decently good job of telling you how powerful a monster is, there are definitely grades of monster. This guy is a boss fight. You can tell because he has 5 paragraphs of text under his description. This is a boss monster. This is kind of a weird dude to throw in a 3-pack that just kind of climbs out of the water and is there as just what's going to feel at the time like a relatively arbitrary random encounter. This is too much shit for a mook. This is like a high 9. Even his numbers are a little bit high for the thing that he is. So, we gotta rip some shit out of here. We gotta rip out some of the parts, pare him down. His main thing is they come in, they yell, which I just realized is extremely hilarious when there's 3 of them. You know how I literally just said I don't like paralysis? Okay, but it's funnier. For some reason, being paralyzed 1 is really annoying. Being stunned 9 is hilarious. There's a point where it just becomes so comedically asinine, like it's so egregiously excessive that it's just funny. Exhibit A. Dalrin and Lord Thaddeus Stoutmore in Book 2 of Age of Ashes when he got up to, I think, stunned somewhere between 7 and 9 from repeated manly left hooks to the fucking chin region. There's a point where it just starts being funny. And like, can you be stunned more than 3? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you can. You can absolutely be stunned more than 3. You just lose more than 1 turn's worth of actions. If you're stunned 7, your next turn, you pass, and now you're stunned 4. Like, it's... My buddy got stunned 8. He was wheezing. There's a point where it just becomes funny. It's hilarious. And maybe it's just the presentation. Being paralyzed and getting a save at the end of your turn, and you're just sitting there like, maybe I get a save, and maybe I'll get to act next turn. I feel like it's just kind of annoying. But just slapping your nuts on the table and saying, you're stunned 9 is funny every single time. I feel like I should lower this. Because I really want to have all 3 of them scream. I want to have all 3 of them fucking scream. If you fail all 3, that's stunned 6, just on a regular failure, which is 2 turns if you're just sitting there fucking vibrating. Like, I don't know why stunned is so much more funny than paralyzed. So they not do the stacking thing in 2E. What with stunned? Stunned is straight up stacks. Like, just explicitly. This is one of the few debuffs in 2E that stacks. You become senseless. You can't act. Stunned includes a value, which is how many actions you lose. So here's your, can you be stunned more than 3 right here. If you're stunned 4, you lose all 3 of your actions, reducing you to stunned 1. On your next turn, you lose another action, and then you have 2 actions left. Stunned for 1 minute is just paralyzed with extra steps. I guess it doesn't explicitly stack, but I've always thought stunned stacks. They can start dancing for the party if they get all stunned 9 as an Easter egg. Oh, fuck me. Because this doesn't do that much damage, honestly. They can just sit there and bust it down. Even all 3 of them dancing is 4d12 damage, which is an average of, what, 26? Woo! 26 damage. Let's go. And the next turn, it does become 7d12. And then the next turn, it becomes 10d12. So if they get the dance for multiple rounds, yeah, it do get a little fucking hurty, but they gotta go for a bit. They gotta be going. They gotta get like 20 seconds into their TikTok dance routine before it really starts fucking tingling. But it's so funny. That is my plan. My plan is to have them come up, do a bunch of stunning screeches, and then start dancing. Dropping as much stunned across the party as they can. As they just sit there to the Macarena of death. Just fucking lightning. Just emanating out. Like that fucking low tier god meme with his eyes just fucking lit up. And reminder, these aren't Vrox. These are like 8-armed little purple dream salamanders that are just sitting there fucking dancing. Horror campaign, by the way. Oh fuck, that's gonna be funny. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm definitely running them as Vrox. Oh, that's gonna be really fucking funny. Holy shit. God, that's good. Okay, I'm getting lost in the sauce here. I'm getting a little pulled into the void of making all this shit work. I need to go. I do not have a lot of time today, and honestly, I probably should have stopped 20 minutes ago. I'm definitely going to stop now, though. I did say it was going to be a relatively brief one. But we made Skywin, and we came up with like the funniest Dewey Vunit setup ever. Dancing little salamander boys. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for being here. Strange Aeons will return here in a couple of weeks soon. I can't 100% give you a start date yet. I'm hoping for 2 weeks from today. 3 at the worst. I don't want to take a longer break between chapters than that. But sorry for the brief one today. Sorry it's a little short. Figured something was better than nothing, though. We get on, we fuck around, we talk about some funny dancing lizards. Good night, everybody. Well, not good night. It's way earlier than I usually stop. Good afternoon, everybody.